Hello everyone, I'm MVL and welcome to an episode of Game Hunting. I'm here at Big E's Games and DVDs in St. Austell, and as soon as I set foot through the door, I see this organizer for the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, and I have to check this thing out. Inside there's a Game Boy Color, and there are some cartridges in this compartment here with Perfect Dark, which in hindsight I probably should have asked if they would sell separately, and there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game there as well. It also included this Game Boy Magnifier, and I remember having something like that for my original Game Boy. Now we're checking out the back room. This is not the shop front. I've shown that in a previous Game Hunting episode, and it's really awesome of them to allow me to rummage through the back room and film here as well. This is not laid out to be seen by customers. A lot of this stuff hasn't been checked yet, but we get to have a look through it and see what's back here. This is also a bit bittersweet, as this was the last time I could go game hunting in this location. They have moved from their shop in St. Austell to Par Market, and I will be featuring their new location in a future game hunting episode. This back room is absolutely stacked with all kinds of retro goodness. There's a Super Nintendo console in the box with Street Fighter 2. Here's a Dreamcast game next to a bunch of PlayStation 1 games. A lot of this stuff would have been newly bought in, or it's going to be taken to conventions or sold on eBay, and that's why it's back here and not in the front of the shop. Once again, I would like to thank Big E's Games and DVDs for allowing me to go through here. Here's a game called Saint Seiya, and the artwork for this game looks really interesting, so that caught my eye. And here's a bunch of games ranging from the Super Nintendo to the Xbox 360, and I pulled out a bunch of other games that caught my eye. Here's Two Worlds 2 Game of the Year Edition on the Xbox 360, a role-playing game, and here's Street Fighter X Tekken on the Xbox 360, a fighting game, and I've been meaning to pick up more fighting games. And here's Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z Special Edition on the Xbox 360, a hack and slash game in the Ninja Gaiden series. Over here we have a PlayStation 2 console in the box and a bunch of PlayStation 2 games. I'm checking out Intellivision Lives. This is sealed. I already have this, but it's a great collection of Intellivision games. And here's Siberia 2. I already have this, and I actually think the new Switch port might be a better version to play because it might run a little better. Here's some GameCube games and original Xbox games, and some more PlayStation 2, Wii, and PlayStation 3 games. Here's an RPG that I don't know much about, so I'm going to check that out later. And here's a combination, a special movie edition of Evil Dead and the film. That was really cool, and that was really tempting to pick that up as well. Here's some DS games, some PSP games, and some more PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 games. Here's some DS and PlayStation 1 games, including one. Now, I tried to look up some information for this game. It looks really cool, but try finding a game called One on the PlayStation 1. That is really difficult. And here's some more PlayStation 1 and DS games, some PC games down at the bottom here. Here's some Xbox One games next to some Sega Saturn games as well. And over here we have just a bunch of stuff in this container, and it's really cool to rummage through what we might find could be hidden and dangerous. I actually already have that game, and just to remind you guys, this is the back room. A lot of this stuff may have been newly bought in and not checked through yet, and we're digging through it here for the first time. This is definitely a reason to have a good relationship with your local sellers and be a loyal customer and keep coming back. I had a lot of fun digging through this stuff here, and I found a lot of cool stuff. There's so much awesome stuff here, so let's check out what I picked out and was going to get. First up is this PS3 game. It's a special edition of Agorest, which I don't know anything about, so I thought I'd take a look here, and it does seem like a role-playing game, and I am into role-playing games. There's an art book, so let's take a peek at the pages and see if we can tell anything about this game. And it does look really cool, and then we see this. So what exactly kind of game is this we have in our hands here? I'm really not sure what to make of this, so I ended up putting that one back. But I did pick out a bunch of other cool games. One for the PlayStation 1 did seem really interesting as well, but again, I didn't know quite enough about that game. But I did really like the look of Two Worlds 2. I had played Two Worlds previously, so I wanted to pick that up. And Street Fighter X Tekken was another one I was considering, It looked really cool, and Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z Special Edition was one I also had my eye on. This game looked really cool as well. And for the PlayStation 2 there was Saint Seiya, another RPG, but I just don't know much about this game. So from this bunch I ended up picking up Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z the Special Edition, which was really awesome. It's a hack and slash game with a bunch of extras in there, and Two Worlds 2 Game of the Year Edition as well. But I also picked up a bunch of other games from here as well. For the PlayStation 1 I picked up Fighter Maker, a fighting game where you can make your own fighter, and Heart of Darkness for the PlayStation 1. This also came with some 3D glasses, and Sub-Terrania for the Mega Drive. This game kind of reminds me of Solar Jetman and Asteroids. And Boulder Dash for the NES. I got it cheaper than the marked price because I was bundling up a bunch of games. And finally, of Orcs and Men for the Xbox 360. Our adventure continues in Total Replay in St. Austell, another location I visit frequently, and I have featured this place before in a previous video game hunting episode. Here I'm after this Japanese copy of Ghouls N Ghosts on the Mega Drive. The artwork on this copy is fantastic, the manual is full color, and it just looks absolutely beautiful. I also had a look at this 4-in-1 cartridge for the Mega Drive. It contains Cyber Police, Shadow Blasters, Ghostbusters, and Final Blow. That was really unusual, so I had to pick that out. They have a great selection of cartridge games from the Master System, Mega Drive to the N64, and loads of stuff in between. Here I'm looking at Hellfire in the box. I have a loose cartridge for this already, and I was thinking about upgrading to a complete copy. We're digging through the games here in this cabinet for a bit of a better look, but I have already seen a lot of these games before, which you can see on a previous game hunting episode, so you should check that out. They've got a lot of the same stuff that I've seen before, but they certainly have a very wide selection, and this place is absolutely full of games. They also had a selection of action figures, and these Torchwood figures really caught my eye. I really did think about picking up one of those because I am a big fan of Doctor Who. In the end, I came away with Ghouls N Ghosts, a Japanese copy in the box for the Mega Drive. I already have a PAL loose cartridge of this, but it looks so beautiful in the box, I had to have it, and this 4-in-1 cartridge for the Mega Drive as well. Lastly, we check out Cancer Research in Newquay. This is a regular haunt of mine. Here they had a Atari 2600 with some box games, but it wasn't in the best condition. But man, they'd really got in a bunch of consoles, controllers, and games recently because they had tons of them. There's a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox controller over there, which is purple and shiny, so it really catches your eye. A PlayStation 3 console there with some games on a controller. PS2 with a blue controller, which was really cool, again catches your eye. An original Xbox controller, an Xbox 360 there, a remote control, which I actually don't have. There's some more controllers there for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360. They really did have a very wide selection of games and consoles at this time. There's a PlayStation 1 with Knockout Kings and a red memory card, which looks really cool. And over here we have a Wii and a boxed Wii as well, next to Lego Dimensions and a couple of Platinum PlayStation 2 controllers there. Here's a Wii U Classic Pro controller at £5. That seems like a really good price for that controller, and they also had some portable stuff. Here's a Nintendo DS, and the next thing I look at is an original Xbox controller. This is the smaller version. I actually find the Duke controller way too big for me. And I also take a look at a bunch of the games in here. They had a lot of stuff. They had a lot of stuff you don't often see in charity shops as well, and you have to be really diligent with these places. Keep coming back to them. They may often not have anything you're interested in, but if you keep coming back, eventually you'll find something good. Now, admittedly, whilst digging through here, I'm seeing a lot of the same titles I have seen in the shop before, but you never know when they're going to get new games in, and you don't know how they're going to organize them. Often you'll be lucky if all of the games are in the same place in places like this. So I'm really digging through here and looking for a diamond in the rough. And I've got to say, there's a lot of rough here, but I am still very excited about all of the controllers, and I know I'm going to be picking some of those up, so let's see if we can find ourselves a game as well. And here we go. Tetris Party Deluxe. This is actually a German copy, but it will play in English on a PAL Wii. Here's an Xbox 360 wired controller. I've been looking for something like this so I don't end up using so many batteries while playing my Xbox 360. It's not an official controller because there's no Xbox logo on it, but it still looks really cool. Here's a PlayStation 2 controller and another PS2 controller, third-party controllers galore here, but I've always been very happy with the official PlayStation 2 controller. Here's another third-party controller, and it just doesn't look as comfortable as the official option. Here's another third-party controller from Cytec with rumble feature, and here's another third-party controller from Mad Catz for the original Xbox. I used to have one of these. This isn't that bad a controller. So I walked away with the Xbox 360 wired controller for £3 and the Wii U Classic Pro controller for £5 and Tetris Party Deluxe for the Wii for £2.50. And now, my friends, it's time to see what I picked up. So what did I pick up? Well, first up, from Total Replay in St. Austell, I got this 4-in-1 pack for the Mega Drive. This includes Cyber Police ESWAT, Shadow Blasters or Shitten Mio, as it says on the back here, and Ghostbusters and Final Blow. Now, this is a completely illegitimate cartridge, so I can't really place a value on this, but it does work. And you can see the cartridge there. It is interesting, to say the least. Now, I know that Shadow Blasters is a good and sought after game. That was really cool, but the Ghostbusters on here is also a very good side-scrolling game, which is awesome, much better than the NES version of Ghostbusters. And I also picked up Ghouls N Ghosts, a Japanese version for the Mega Drive. Very happy about this. The artwork on the case is great. To get this in box as well is awesome. I had this on the Mega Drive, but I did not have the Japanese version in the box, and it is beautiful. It has the manual here. There's the cartridge, and I'll show you the manual as well, because the artwork on the manual is fantastic as well. Full color, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Every page is brimming with artwork and has something awesome to show, and it's just very nice to have in the collection. It looks absolutely fantastic. Very happy about that, to have this, and it just looks beautiful. So this was really awesome to find, and it's a very good game, one of the games that I really like on the system. So I'm very happy to have that complete in box. Now, from Biggie's Games and DVDs, also in St. Austell, I picked up Boulder Dash for the NES, a puzzle game where you're running away from boulders, and of course, if you say it fast, it sounds like the word Boulder Dash, which is fun as well. For the Mega Drive, I picked up Sub-Terrania, which kind of sounds like Sub-Terrane. Get it? This is really cool. This is kind of reminds me of Asteroids, but also a bit like Solar Jetman in the way you fly around. Really cool game. This is complete with the cartridge and the manual in there as well. And this game was very good as well, so I'm happy I picked that up. Now, for the PlayStation 1, I picked up Fighter Maker. Now, I think the joy of this game is to make your own fighters, because certainly the actual fighting game aspect of this didn't last very long. I think I went through the fight modes, or the fights you get, in about 10 minutes, but it is complete with a game disc and manual in there. But yeah, it was very, very easy to go through the one-player mode. I got through those fights in about 10 minutes, so I think all of the joy from this must come from making your own fighter. Next up, for the PS1, also got Heart of Darkness. Really cool game. It is kind of like an animated story that you play through, very ahead of its time. Very cool gameplay on this. It's very cinematic, looks really good, and this also has 3D glasses in here as well. So that's awesome to get this complete with the 3D glasses. Kind of fits. And have the manual in there and the discs as well. Even though this is a budget version, so the discs don't have artwork on them, I'm still happy to have it because this has the really cool 3D glasses included. Next up, for the Xbox 360, I have Of Orcs and Men. This is kind of a hybrid action and tactical game. You can pause the action as you go and key out your sequences that you want to do for your attacks. Very cool, interesting story between a war of orcs and men. Also includes goblins, by the way, even though that's not in the title. Pretty cool game. Glad to have picked that up. Next up we have Two Worlds 2 Game of the Year Edition role-playing game. This is, of course, as it says, the Game of the Year edition, so it includes a bunch of additional content, complete here with the disc and manual. Nice. And lastly on the Xbox 360 from Big E's is Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z Special Edition. This is a really cool Ninja Gaiden hack and slash game. Has a very kind of comical and gory theme to it. Very cool game. I enjoyed this quite a lot. It is complete with a disc and manual and a bunch of those special feature extras. So it includes a comic book right here, which is very cool. Nice extra to get a comic book along with this. That is a really cool addition. I like when you get these little extras in with games. It just really adds to the package. And this comic book, you know, as well as the style of the game, how that plays out, the comedic and gory nature is complete in this comic as well. Very funny, very cool. Also came with the manual, of course, and also came with a DLC code for Dead or Alive 5, which, by the way, even though I got this second hand, was unused, so I got to use that as well. Even though I don't have Dead or Alive 5 on the Xbox 360, Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate it says here, I could use that code potentially if I got that game. From Cancer Research in Nuki, I picked up Tetris Party. This is awesome. I'll pick up any Tetris game, any Tetris Party Deluxe for that matter. It's just Tetris. I will pick up any Tetris game. You know, they're all Tetris. Tetris is good, so I'm going to pick up any version of Tetris I can get my hands on. This is also compatible with Wii Speak apparently, and the balance board and the Wii Wheel. I don't know what you'd use them for to play Tetris. But yeah, Tetris. I'll pick up any Tetris game. That's a fact. And then I picked up a couple of controllers from Cancer Research as well. I got an Xbox 360 wired controller. This was very good. I've used this, and it's good. I like not having to worry about batteries. All the triggers and thumbsticks and that feel pretty good. The D-pad feels pretty good. I can't say anything bad about it, except it's not official. There's no like X on the home button. It's not worn out, it just doesn't have it. You know, there's nothing written on the back like saying it's from Microsoft, so it's not an official controller, but it's still very good. It handles very well, and you don't have to worry about batteries. And then I did get an official controller for the Wii. This is a Classic Pro controller, usable on the Wii and Wii U. This is an official one. I've got these, both of these controllers at a very good price, so I'm very happy about that. And I wanted to get a controller like this so I could use it for games like Conduit 2, shooting games where I'd really want to have the thumbsticks. And yeah, this controller handles really well. It's really comfortable, as you'd expect from an official controller for the Wii and Wii U. And with that, if you like the video, please leave a like or a comment to let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. And if you'd like to, you can also support me through Patreon or YouTube channel membership. Thank you for watching. I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.